So your generators, if you have a small generator, this is what we did with the fire department, and I think that this is the best method. If it's something that you're not going to use or need in an emergency, you should run it, you should have no fuel in the tank. Now, not having fuel in the tank, it's going to be impossible for it to varnish up and clean. So when you're ready to put it away for winter, I would get on AMSOIL and I'd get their fogging oil. They have a fogging oil. So let's say you're going to put your generator away for the summer. You've had it out, you've had it prepped for the winter for power outages. Usually that's when they're going to come. And you don't often use those things in the winter. So if it's going to be put away for 6 months or so, I would, or in the summer, I would do this. Get a good fogging oil like AMSOIL, follow the instructions, you'll take the spark plug out, and what that'll do is right as you're running it dry, you're running the thing dry, you'll spray this stuff in there, and it will coat all of the cylinders, it will coat the valve train, you'll spray it in the cylinder, all that, and it will keep all of that metal in there from rusting. So, because what happens is as it sits, the oil drains down, and if you're a southern man and you live in a high humidity area, all that condensation will build up and it could cause pitting on the rings and rusting, and all sorts of problems. You don't have to do that. If you just follow that simple instruction of just running the fuel dry so it's not going to gum up on you, and then doing that, your Seafoam type of stuff or your AMSOIL, that's not the only one out there. That's a good thing to do. Also, don't store your generators on the ground in a shop on the wet floor if you can help it. If you can get them elevated up on a shelf a little bit, moisture sits down on the ground, and it's a much worse place to put it. So bear in mind with those two things. But what I do is if you're not using your generator, run it once a year and just change the oil. Change the oil every year and just run it once a year. If your power goes out regularly and you have it running, through the winter, you don't have to worry about that so much. You've already ran it. But the number one thing, non-ethanol fuel. Ask your gas station. There's some websites you can go on locally that will give you the location of places that sell non-ethanol fuel. As a rule of thumb, most premium fuel, your 91 octane, is going to be non-ethanol. It'll oftentimes say so on the pump. That's the way it is here in the Pacific Northwest. I don't know about your area, but have a policy in your house that if it goes in a small engine or in a can, if it's not my car or truck, then it is always, always, always non-ethanol. The additives and the ethanol that they put into fuel will eat the rubber gaskets, it will gum up your carburetor, it is the bane of men's existence. More small engine problem has been caused by that than anything else. The non-ethanol will hold for about a year or so, and it won't gum you up. But just run it through there, follow the instructions I gave you, and you'll have a piece of equipment that'll last a long time. Have a few spare parts on hand as well. One thing that I see that happens often that really mess guys up are broken pull ropes or starter cords. You can buy a roll of starter cord, throw it in your supply cache, have that there. It'll work across all of your tools, your chainsaws and such. That's the main thing. Have a spark plug, have an extra change of oil, and just be really fastidious with your fuel. If your unit doesn't have a fuel filter, let me show you something. I'm going to step away for just 1 second. This is really important. A lot of the small engines are not going to have fuel filters. And if you're not super vigilant about your cans, or there's always grit and sand in those things, for $3, $3 or $4, you can get these little inline fuel filters. I'll take it out here and show you. And you don't have to be a mechanic to do this. If you look underneath the tank, most of them are going to be gravity feed. There's going to be a little rubber fuel line, a 1/4-inch fuel line that comes out of there, and get you one of these. Get half a dozen of them and keep them in your kit. They're little tiny inline, super tight, fine micron, whatever, fuel filters. They're directional, get them in the right way, and this will save you a ton of aggravation right there. I put them on everything, all my motorcycles, and when I change the oil annually, if I haven't used it, I toss it out and I throw a new one on. They're just $3-4. It's what you want to do. But shout out to you for getting prepared and having some generators. Tell me that doesn't feel good. And extension cords. Have extension cords, figure what you think you need and then double it, and have some of the splitters with the 3 on there, because when the power goes out, you'll have extension cords running all over, and those are very handy to have.